How we doing? I haven't been on in a while. Had some family stuff going on. A lot of exciting things. Want to share something with you real quick. Waiting for everything to connect. I know a lot of you haven't seen me in a while. We'll talk about that later. But I want you to jump on this. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, or I think it's LinkedIn, you will be seeing me live here. At least Facebook and YouTube. All right, here we go. Today we're going to talk about multiplication, not the math kind, uh, but the kingdom kind. I want to show you how where you sow and what you sow and how you sow matters. Why you may feel stuck currently in your sowing. And many of y'all know Matthew chapter 13. Jesus tells a story called the parable of the sower. Um, I can read that for you. Let me grab that real quick. On the same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat by the sea. A great multitude were gathered together with him, so that he got into a boat and sat. The multitude stood on the shore. So he spoke many things to them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seed fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured them. Some fell on stony places, where they did not have much earth, and they immediately sprang up because they had no depth of the earth. When the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. Some fell by thorns, and the thorns sprang up and choked them. Others fell on good ground and yielded a crop. Some 100, some 60, some 30. He who has ears, let him hear. Now, I want to say that in this particular thing, he's talking about giving away the gospel, giving away the kingdom. But it applies to so many different things. It applies to sales. It applies to your business. It applies to so many things. I just want to be clear here. I'm not trying to take this out of context because the context is important, but it develops a principle, the sowing principle. Do you notice that the sower never was concerned himself with the results? He could only focus on his input, what he was doing, what he was throwing out, what he was giving, if you will. So let's talk about that for a minute, okay? The farmer went out and scattered seed. Some falls on rocky ground, nothing grows. Some lands on thorns and gets choked out, but some lands on good soil. It gives you 30, 60, and even 90 or 100 times growth of what was sown. The same seed, the same sower, different soil. The difference isn't in the seed, it's in the ground. Now, I want to add something to that. That is only true with us. With God, the difference is the seed, because the seed is so good. God's seed is so good. It creates a good ground if it's receptive. Okay, because none of us are good enough to receive God's word. In your life, in your business, in your relationships, where you plant your time, your money, your energy matters. Are you planting them in places that choke you out? Or in places that God has intended that will multiply your God-given purpose? Let's take a look at a second story. This comes out of Genesis chapter 26:12. But I'm going to start at verse 1. There was a famine in the land besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac said, and went down to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, in Gerar. And the Lord appeared to him and said, Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land which I shall tell you. Dwell in this land, and I will be with you, and bless you. For your descendants I will give these lands, and will perform the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. And I will make your descendants multiply as the stars of heaven, and give your descendants these lands. And your seed All nations of the earth shall be blessed, because Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my law. So Isaac dwelt in that place. Let's get down to verse 12 now. Then Isaac sowed in the land and reaped in the same year 100-fold. The Lord blessed him, and the man began to prosper and continued prospering until he became very prosperous. For he had possessions of flocks, in possessions of herds, and great number of servants. So Philistines envied him. I want to stop right there. I want to say, during a famine, this man sowed. During a famine, this man sowed and reaped 100-fold harvest. Why is that? Someone could say because the faithfulness of Abraham. Some say because the covenant he had with God. Why don't you create a covenant with God and sow your seed? Why don't you create a relationship with God? Because the covenant is nothing more than a relationship that you enter into where someone carries the other one in some area. So let's talk about this. Isaac didn't wait till conditions were perfect. Like I said, the conditions were a famine. Isaac didn't wait 10 years. He didn't play small. He sowed while he was in famine. When things looked dry, looked barren, while other people were holding back. He went because he trusted God, and he sowed where God told him. Remember, God told him, stay in this land. And the land itself was forced to give Isaac the increase. He reaped 100-fold in the same year. Not magic, but obedience, not hustle. I'm so tired of, I'm hustling. I'm out here hustling. No, you don't need to hustle. Use faith and wisdom. The hustle culture will kill you and leave you, and take your soul, take your energy, and leave you with nothing. I know some people believe in the hustle culture. I am not one. I believe, yes, you make moves and you do the things you need to do, but you don't need to hustle. You need to find out what God says about it and sow in that area. So my question for you is, where are you sowing? Are you planting your dreams in rocky ground with people who don't believe in you or God, or that God has a plan for you? Are you investing your time where distractions come to choke you out? Like, I had like 4 apps that were games on my phone. I think I deleted 3 or 4 of them. I have 1 left. So I realized these distractions were keeping me from what God was calling me to do. So um, this will help you in seeing this the right way. God can't deliver you from friends. He can only deliver you from enemies. When you make something your enemy, God will help get it out of your life. Are you willing to sow into good soil even when it seems risky at first? Because you believe God is the Lord of the harvest. In your life, in your business, in your calling. Some of you are going to say, Pastor Chris, I don't have a calling like you. I'm not a pastor. I'm just a simple person. No, you have a calling. If you are saved, you have a calling. You have an ordination. I don't buy this that certain people are ministers of the gospel. Everyone's called to be a minister of the gospel. You might do it in the business arena. You might do it like my wife in the art arena, but she also does things in the church. You might do things in a place where you might not consider it church. The church is part of the kingdom. And wherever the kingdom goes, we make imprint. We make touches. We evangelize. Evangelism isn't set for a system a day. It is a system that the kingdom uses to grow its members or disciples, right? So your time wisely. Time is an amazing thing. It is the only thing that once you sow it, once you spend it, you can't get it back. You can get money back. You know, that reminds me of a story that I heard. This lady kept coming into her husband. Oh, look it's 50% off. Oh, it's 65% off of these shoes I want. It's 85% off the shoes I want. And the man says, I can give you 100% savings. His wife looks at him, you can? Yeah, don't buy the shoes. You save 100% of your money. You don't need the new shoes. You've got several pairs. And she got mad at him, but there's truth in that. If you don't spend the money on that, but you can invest it into something that will grow, so you can buy the shoes at a later time. It's time to trust God's multiplication system. God doesn't do addition, He does multiplication. You're not called to barely survive, you're called to multiply. Let's stop just throwing seed and start planting with purpose, faith, and expectation. If this hits home, drop a comment below. What are you where are you really ready to sow? And is it good ground? Hey, if you like what you've heard here, subscribe for more content on faith, business, and how to break through the limits that are holding you back. Let's go get that harvest. And an added thought is, if you like this, I'm here to tell you today to sow wisely. It's time you trust God's multiplication, as I said. If you're ready to start that journey, I'll be dropping a link in the comments about the Power 10 Reset. It's coming soon. The books are published now. We are so excited. We're getting ready to do a full launch and full going forward. My team and I, we can help you grow, break through. Maybe you've lost your spark. Maybe you've got profits but no purpose. We are here to assist you in getting back to the purpose and passion that God instilled in you so you can create what God called you to create. My program and process helps reset the mind set that you're given. Rebuild your focus. Start sowing in the right ground in your life, in your business, and in your calling. In other words, I'm saying this is a good soil starter kit. The link will be in the description here shortly. If this message is home, drop a comment. Where are you ready to sow in good ground? Hey, listen, subscribe if this is YouTube for more. If you want more content on faith, business, and how to break through the limits that are holding you back. Remember, He's the Lord of the harvest, y'all. So, have a great day.